Mike Van Gilder here with Goodwill Industries in Asheville, and I am talking today with Meredith Campbell. Meredith, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do?
Sure. I am the local owner of Express Employment Professionals. We are a local and family-owned employment firm that works with hundreds of employers in the area and thousands of job seekers to help them find meaningful work.
Awesome, great. You came here today. We have some questions we wanted to ask you, and this is just a time for us to get to hear what Express is doing. And we have a lot of job seekers that come in through Goodwill, and hopefully, as they look at this, they'll be able to see how they can come into Express and the best way to find a job.
Sure.
So, all right. So, what is your best advice that you can give to applicants who want to basically get out there and find a job and just do their best on those first 90 days?
This is a great question because often we think the work is over when we get the job, but that first 90 days is still really important, both for the job seeker and the employer. So as an employer, when I have someone join my team or we have an associate go to work for a company we work with, we really look for two main things their first 90 days, that they show up every day wanting to work and wanting to be there.
Right? It's a little important.
Yeah, absolutely. And that could look like just being on time, having a positive attitude, taking good notes or asking good questions. So for sure that. And then secondary, someone who wants to learn. While I want someone to learn the job they're in, I also want to know that they want to know about the company in general.
Cool. And so when someone's asking about, when you say they want to learn, are you looking for more of at the job that they're applied to right now, or even just curiosity as to other positions throughout that company that they might want to make an advancement as?
Sure, I think both of those would work, but genuinely I think just the curiosity of spirit. Someone who wants to ask good questions, someone who's excited to be there. It's that fine line of you don't want to push too hard to say, I want to do what's next, right? You got to learn the job you're in and what you were hired to do every day. But someone who is excited and thinks really is an attractive first impression.
Awesome. It's good advice for a lot of the job seekers we have out there right now. What about in resumes? What is it? Everyone loves making resumes. And but what is that one thing that you kind of look for that helps that applicants stand out as they're making a resume?
Sure. That is a great question to ask and a really hard one to answer because it's very subjective, right? You have people looking at these resumes and considering applicants for the job. So honestly, I go with simple. A few things I recommend is 1, maybe 2 pages. So length matters. The balance of white space and words. But really, most importantly, I look for someone to indicate on their resume that they're qualified for the job that they are applying for with me that day. So similar words, a direct, clear message, no spelling mistakes. Something simple will get someone far.
Okay. Going back real quick to the white space and words, that balance, can you explain a little bit about what you mean, like the words and the balance for people that might not like, what?
Sure. So I like to advise people to avoid having it read like a novel or a short story or a newspaper article. Bullet points are wonderful, spacing in between jobs. There's a stat floating out there that you have 11 seconds from when the person who's considering your resume to make a decision on whether to talk to you or not. And if they can't get the information they need in 11 seconds, it's too much.
Okay. How about a cover letter? Working here at Goodwill, I get asked that quite a bit. Do I need to do a cover letter? Should I do a cover letter? What do I put in the cover letter? So those are always fun little nuggets that people want to know about.
Another subjective answer. So I would say absolutely yes if the job posting asks for one. Right? Let's be respectful for what they're asking for. I say it's also helpful if your resume doesn't clearly indicate that you are a perfect match for the job. So the cover letter is a great way to tell your story.
Okay.
Often, though, I think it is a little much. You can achieve the same objective with a very clear opening objective statement on the top of your resume.
Okay. So it's more or less if it's required by the applicant, but it's not necessary anymore.
I believe that's correct, yeah.
Okay. So what is your advice about applicants going into the interview? We've actually talked earlier about this little subject here about getting ready for interviews. So any top 5 things people need to do when they're getting ready for that interview?
Okay, top 5 on the spot. Be prepared. That means to me, research the company, even a quick Google, so you know who they are and what they do. I would drive the route. That sounds so silly, but know where you're going so you're not rushed or stressed. I would definitely do that. I would, when you get there, talk to the person who greets you, the receptionist, the front office person, spend some time getting to know them.
Okay.
That will tell you a lot about the organization before you even get into the interview. Number 4 is I would ask questions in the interview, not just let them ask you, but you need to be prepared with asking them questions about the company, the opportunity, the job. And then number 5, I'd thank them in person and with a follow-up note.
Okay. And so with a follow-up note, are you talking email? Are you talking text?
So email is fine.
Or are we talking old school?
I think old school will make you stand out in a very good way.
Actual letter and a stamp.
And a stamp.
Okay. And then how about advice for any, what to wear as you're getting ready for this interview? How should we show up? What should we do? All that?
Sure. It's always better to be overdressed than under. But the research that you do the days before that will help you know kind of what they wear there and how they dress will give you a baseline. And then I tell people one level up.
Okay.
So if they wear business casual, so dress slacks and a nice shirt, I would do that with a jacket.
Okay.
If they wear jeans, I would not wear jeans. That would be my one rule is cover your feet and no jeans.
No jeans. Okay. And then what advice would you give to someone unsure of how to address criminal background report? So
Yeah, that is a common question I get with
Yeah.
my team, and that is a difficult question, but I advise honesty. Honesty with what now. So I would tell the truth. I would talk about what you learned and then what you're doing now to move forward.
okay. And then with the background issues coming up, one of the things that we were discussing with our reentry team downstairs is how important it is in the interview. Is it important to address it in the interview? We know it's important to address it, of course, on the application if it's asked. But in the interview, is that something that should just come up out of the person being interviewed if they're not asked about it?
That's a great question. That's a real world question, right?
Yeah.
So I never advise misleading or lying, but to be honest, I don't think if it's not job relevant, I wouldn't bring it up.
Okay.
If asked, I would answer truthfully. If it's job relevant, I would, but if not, I would present myself as qualified for the job.
Okay. Awesome. Well, hey, Meredith, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. Meredith with Express Employment, and go see them.